A family who lost their son to fentanyl poisoning in 2022 is waiting to learn the fate of the 20-year-old man who dealt the deadly pills. In May, Luis Guajardo pleaded guilty in the death of 38-year-old John Salem.
And Guajardo was out on bond, but as KXAN's Brianna Hollis reports, he went back into custody this afternoon when he failed a drug test right after part one of his sentencing hearing.
Moments before going back in handcuffs, Luis Guajardo said on the stand if he took a drug test, it would come out clean.
If you were to be tested today, would you be clean?
Yes, I would.
As his sentencing hearing recessed until Friday, the state asked for a drug test and the judge obliged. That failed test and handcuffs wrapped up a day of emotional testimony from victim John Salem's loved ones.
Fun, gave each other a hard time, a lot of laughs.
A family's favorite memory is now part of a testimony. Salem's mother, Libby Pender, and brother, Stuart Mann, took the stand first Thursday, sharing painful memories of the moment they found Salem dead inside his New Braunfels home.
He was lifeless in his bed, and I remember I was just shaking him, saying, "John, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up."
According to court documents, Guajardo sold counterfeit Percocet pills to Salem, and the investigation revealed the pills contained fentanyl. Those records also state Guajardo told Salem there wasn't any fentanyl in the drugs. The charge, manufacturing or delivering a controlled substance, causing death or serious bodily injury. Guajardo's attorney, Rob Shepard, argued Salem sought out the Percocet and cocaine he bought from Guajardo. Guajardo's loved ones say he straightened out after the arrest.
We've seen a lot, and we're not those people anymore. He does go to church, and I can vouch for that. For him to be on a monitor this long, that's a big step.
Salem's family has told us they hope to see Guajardo serve time on this charge and said in court, nothing has been the same since Salem died.
I don't really like looking at pictures of him. Why not? Because he's never coming back.
Brianna Hollis, KXAN News.
And that hearing is set to resume tomorrow at 1:30. To give some insight into how this is being tackled at the federal level, just yesterday, President Donald Trump signed the Halt All Lethal Trafficking of Fentanyl Act, cracking down on the deadly opioid and toughening prison sentences for those who traffic fentanyl. Today marked the official end to the LGBTQ plus section of the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. The Trump administration ordered to shut down the service as the White House works to eliminate funding for DEI programs. A group of bipartisan lawmakers want Health and Human Services to immediately reverse this shutdown. The 988 LGBTQ plus crisis line launched back in 2022, offering specialized help to people in the community during a mental health emergency. But there are other resources like the Trevor Project.
It's important for us to remind LGBTQ young people that we do still have the Trevor Project services that we have been operating for 27 years. Those are available across text, phone, and web chat.
And according to the Trevor Project, about 40% of LGBTQ youth considered suicide in the past year. For a look at other resources, go to the story at KXAN.com. Your wallet is a little safer in downtown Austin after a crackdown on pickpocketers.
At today's Downtown Austin Alliance meeting, Austin police discussed crime data in the area, pointing out pickpocketing reports have decreased by half when you compare this June to last June. APD credited a targeted investigation from their Downtown Area Rapid Response Team, or DART.
They were able to use placework network investigations and really hone in on the players in a ring of pocket picking. And they made several arrests from the guy out of Dallas and his crew.
And APD also noted the Republic Square Park area and the Downtown Entertainment District are hotspots for crimes against property like pickpocketing. A Texas woman is trying to educate the public on artificial intelligence after seeing misinformation and disinformation about recent flooding being widely spread online. Maria Joaquina is a digital strategist who grew up in Kerrville. She started an awareness campaign on her Facebook page to teach people how to spot AI-generated images. It's a three-part series that shares tips on what to look for. Joaquina said that people sharing AI-generated photos are usually spreading disinformation or trying to scam people for fake donations. So she wants to keep people from being taken advantage of.
I want to make it as simple as possible for people who don't regularly use AI or are subjected to what those images look like. The occasional social media user, or like my grandma, people who just aren't aware that that is going on out there.
And she said that she's planning to create a series focused on how to spot AI-generated videos. Next. Well, following the catastrophic flooding across Central Texas and specifically in Kerr County, some conservation organizations are speaking out in hopes of making changes to keep people safe.
Nabil Rahman explains what they hope to do.
Piles of debris and widespread destruction are all that's left after catastrophic flooding killed more than 100 people in Kerr County.
This latest event shows us that we are called Flash Flood Alley for a good reason.
Now, as lawmakers discuss warning systems, some organizations like Heart of Texas Conservancy and member Ben Eldridge are hoping to educate communities further.
What we intend to do is send a message to the entire community. So that goes to decision makers.
He says warning systems are good, but more should be done, and that decision makers should be keeping a better eye on floodplain maps and builds.
Now, there are a lot of rules and regulations in counties throughout the state that prevent people from moving into, say, for example, the 100-year flood zone. Sometimes those regulations are waived.
He says preserving natural river and creek features like trees and plants along the river can also mitigate stormwater intensity.
We focus a lot on regional policy and planning solutions, as well as land stewardship solutions that can help slow water down, filter it, and sink it in. So that it isn't just rushing downstream, bypassing recharge features.
Eldridge says planning for the future can save people's lives and reduce damage.
The data, the science shows us that these type of flood events do happen.
Nabil Rahman, KXAN News.
And the Lieutenant Governor and the Speaker of the Texas House have already named members to the newly created Select Committees on Disaster Preparedness and Flooding. Lawmakers will look at flood warning systems, flood emergency communications, natural disaster preparation and recovery, in addition to relief efforts. So the committees are going to meet next Wednesday, and then the lawmakers are going to travel to Kerrville a week after that.
Going in depth, federal regulators repeatedly granted appeals to remove Camp Mystic's buildings from their 100-year flood map. This loosened oversight as the camp operated and expanded in a dangerous floodplain. This is all according to a review by the Associated Press. FEMA included the girls' summer camp in a special flood hazard area in its national flood insurance map for Kerr County. That was back in 2011, which means it was required to have flood insurance and then face tighter regulation on any future construction project.
Well, after devastating flash floods hit Central Texas, some Austin City Council members are urging the federal government to reinstate a grant that could protect Austin infrastructure from floods. Thanks for joining us. I'm Daniel Marin.
And I'm Jennifer Sanders. As KXAN's Grace Reader explains, nearly $50 million previously promised to Austin was eliminated as the Trump administration makes good on its promise to cut down on government spending.
We haven't seen anything like this.
As Central Texans recover from flash floods that claimed lives and caused significant damage, some Austin City Council members are re-upping their plea to the federal government to reinstate a $50 million grant that would have helped protect these infrastructure facilities from floods. The South Austin Regional Wastewater Treatment Plant and Austin Energy Sand Hill Energy Center. We told you in April that grant was eliminated as the federal government works to cut waste.
This is a continued trend that we're seeing at the federal level. And it's really unfortunate because it has a real impact on the lives of Austinites.
City leaders sent this letter to FEMA and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, asking them to revisit that decision, saying, quote, building resilient infrastructure and communities is not only essential for Austin's already budgeted projects, it's a lifeline for rural communities like Kerr County. While on the ground in Texas, Noem generally addressed FEMA cuts.
We're cutting through the paperwork of the old FEMA, streamlining it much like your vision of how FEMA should operate, and it's been a much better response.
The grant would have in part helped prevent flooding on this road, which separates the facilities from the Colorado River. The city of Austin says a single catastrophic flood at these facilities could cause $1.6 billion in damage. And if these go offline, half of Austin's capacity to treat wastewater gone, and nearly a quarter of the baseload power capacity gone with it. Grace Reader, KXAN News.
And KXAN also reached out to FEMA regarding this letter from Austin leaders and their request to get the FEMA grant reinstated. We did not hear back today, but if we do, you will be first to know at KXAN.com. 20 Democratic-led states filed a lawsuit Wednesday against FEMA over the agency's decision to shut down the program Grace mentioned, Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities, also known as BRIC. The lawsuit claims FEMA unlawfully eliminated the program without the approval of Congress. According to the state's complaint, the impact of the shutdown has been devastating as communities in every state have benefited from federal disaster mitigation grants.